What's going on, everybody? Welcome back
There
to
he is.
the Beer Battered Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans, because we believe, there we go, that we are the most qualified to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac,
And Kylie.
I'm 40.
and
I'm
yeah,
back
we
this week, guys. I've been gone for 2 weeks. Back.
I'm just glad I was able to get on today at all. For those of you who want to know, so I just moved to a new apartment, and the internet just died here for a good solid 30 minutes, and I thought I was not going to be able to get on and thought, damn, we're never going to have a full podcast again. But it came back just as I got back from going to get some gas. So I'm here. We're ready.
That's what matters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But what is it that we always say? It's not an episode of the Beer Batter Sports Podcast unless there are
Technical difficulties.
technical difficulties.
Every
All
time.
right.
Every time.
Every time. Well, we got an exciting episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the ongoing MLB season and all the craziness that has been that. We're going to be talking about the NHL and the NBA playoffs, especially the NBA playoffs, which have been very, very interesting. And we'll talk a little bit about some of the announcements about the NFL schedule release. I think there was a couple of new rules they introduced. I actually wanted to start with that. Now, bear with me, guys, because since we still don't have internet for our apartment, I'm kind of limited in my notes. So bear with me if I'm kind of like out of the loop of everything that's going on. It's been a busy week, but so the NFL is announcing their schedule tomorrow for the upcoming season, and already a couple of games have gotten leaked. We're getting AFC Championship game rematch on December 31st, New Year's Eve rematch. The Jaguars are playing back-to-back games in London. Chiefs and Dolphins will be playing in Germany, and now the NFL has just announced that teams can get multiple Thursday night venues. Multiple Thursday night games. It's not just going to be one and dones. It's like if you're on Thursday night football once, you could get flexed to Thursday night football again.
Players don't like that.
Nobody likes that. Name me one person who likes Thursday night football.
Not me.
Eh, yeah, it's funny you say that because I don't think I've ever really tuned into a Thursday night football game unless the Commanders played, and I think we've only played like once or twice on Thursday night football.
Ain't nobody want to watch y'all.
Well, hang on. I mean, maybe there's some people who might want to watch the Commanders. I I think the biggest issue with Thursday Night Football for me personally has been that it's just not fun. They always schedule bad teams for whatever reason. We saw this last year with the majority of the games not being that good. And who is making noises back there? Y'all can burst. I keep hearing somebody hit my door.
You're hearing things, my dude.
No, I'm not. The neighbor across the hall is moving out today, and they are having a bunch of workmen come and clear out all of her stuff. So there's a lot of people in the hall. But anyway, back to the show. Yeah, Thursday Night Football, they just never really schedule any good teams. And I think what the NFL is thinking with this new rule change about being able to flex schedule the Thursday night games and telling teams you could be on there more than once, it's their way to, they looked at last year, looked at some of the horrible matchups we had and said, well, let's make it so we don't have that. Let's make it so that instead of getting Denver versus Indianapolis, we can flex that to a good matchup. Problem is, then you have the issue of the players not wanting Thursday Night Football to be a thing in the first place.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know it could really I don't know. It's complicated. Hopefully we do get the better matchups because last year the matchups were terrible. I remember us recording every week and being like, "Can we please get good Thursday night football matchups?"
We did.
Monday and Sunday night are elite. I mean, I went to the Ravens Colts Monday night football game the year before last, and it was so much fun. There's nothing like Monday night or Sunday night football. It's the best, and I appreciate another prime time. Would you even consider it a prime time slot Thursday night football? Because your team is guaranteed to be broadcasted everywhere, so people can watch.
I don't think I'd consider it prime time just because I don't know.
Not prime time, but like, I guess I meant like a time where everybody generally has the time to watch.
Yeah, because Thursday is like such a random day, so it's like I definitely understand what you're saying with that. Because some people, and then on top of that, it's not even like it's broadcasted on like a regular TV station or something. So
Yeah, it's on Amazon now. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon Prime, so you have to have Amazon Prime to watch these Thursday night football games. And it's like, okay, so first you're scheduling bad teams for us, then you're putting it on a network that some people may not have. So what are you really trying to get out of these Thursday night games here? Because it doesn't really seem as if too many people are excited about them, and
It's all money.
Yeah, it is all about money. But if it's about money, you probably want to schedule the best and not the worst teams on this Thursday night football event.
And that's, I think, what they're trying to do now with the flex scheduling for Thursday night. But again, it all comes down to the money. Like you guys said it, they don't even have Thursday night football on a channel that's available for most Americans. Most Americans aren't getting Amazon Prime TV.
No.
I mean, I was lucky to have it at my old place, but I don't have it anymore. So that's the situation. Most Americans.
$127 a year.
How much? Sorry.
127, I believe, a year
for the entire year.
Yeah, but that's Amazon Prime. That's Amazon Prime. So for Prime, you get regular Amazon Prime, and you get the Prime Video and all that stuff. So it's more than just like.
I don't know. I've heard that Amazon Prime's kind of worth it because the quality of their shows is just so much better than all the other streaming platforms.
Yeah, and not only that,
Prime does have a lot of good shows. I will say that.
Yeah, and the convenience of 2-day shipping is great.
Oh yeah, I'd love to have my Wi-Fi 2-day shipped here, please. Yeah, it's exactly. We're very, very lucky. Shout out U.S. Postal Service. We're very lucky that it's getting here tonight because originally we thought it wasn't going to get here till the weekend, and I thought, so you mean we're going to have no internet for an entire week? But it's not the end of the world. I actually wanted to hear you guys' opinions on this. Some of the other schedule updates. The
better.
HBO better, or at least it was.
Yeah, not wrong.
Yeah, it was. I'm curious what you guys think about the Jaguars playing back-to-back games in London. Now, granted, only one of them is classified as a home game. The other is going to be classified as an away game. That's their game against Buffalo. I'm curious what you think about that.
My issue with it is, I mean, I think it's cool. I love the international games for both baseball and football. And we're going to talk about the ones in baseball later. But
oh yeah,
with the Jaguars being back-to-back, I know one of them is the Ravens, and I think the other one's the Cardinals. Falcons.
The Bills, Buffalo. They're playing. Buffalo will be technically hosting them in London. So yeah, they have back-to-back London games.
Falcons, Jaguars, and yeah, whatever it is, and they have a special Black Friday game too, which is interesting. But anyway, back to the. So my issue with the whole thing is, it should count as away games for both teams. Now I know that's not really like possible, really, because you still got to establish,
Well, I mean, you can.
Because think about it, neither team is really home.
I see your point. The thing is with Jacksonville is that Jacksonville has such a huge fan base in London because they've played there so much that it technically counts as a second home. It's kind of like how they all usually put the Cardinals down in Mexico City when they go play in Mexico City, because the Cardinals were one of the first teams to play down there, and they have an established fan base in Mexico. Or any of the Southern California team. Any of the SoCal teams could do really well in Mexico, while Jacksonville does really well in London.
I remember when Philly played Jacksonville the year
in London.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that game. That was a fun one. One of the few London games. That's the one thing I don't understand. Why are London games always so bad? I mean, last year we actually got some good London games. I know the Saints-Vikings game was, but for most of it, London games just aren't that good.
Yeah, it's disappointing because the London baseball games are amazing.
Oh yeah.
Now that you say that, I don't really think there is a London game that stuck out to me except that Saints-Vikings game from last year.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I think the first ever London game when the Giants played the Dolphins back in 2007, but then I think that was a close one. But then I remember, well, the Dolphins were the worst team in the league that year, so
It's
maybe
true.
not. I will say this: I'm glad to see they're going back to Germany. The crowd in the Germany game last year was ridiculous, and I'm not just saying that as a Bucks fan who had to watch his team play in Germany. I'm saying that legit, as if that crowd was really, really good. And it is a sign that like the NFL is a lot more popular in Germany than we give it credit for. I mean, you got to remember there used to be the oh oh no, I know exactly what Game Defender of the North is remembering. I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to torture him, but it was bad
He'll bring it up.
eventually.
But my favorite part is like, because you and I usually work on Sunday mornings together
Mhm.
at our job, and it's kind of nice waking up, getting ready for the day, seeing there's a football game on, going to work, and just watching football literally all day. I like it as a sports addict. It's nice having
Yeah.
all day. That's why I like baseball day games. It's the sport all day, different
Speaking
teams, everything.
speaking of baseball day games, can I just interrupt real quick to say that Harrison Bader is a god amongst men, and he is solely the reason why the Yankees don't suck.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. That's
3 home runs in 8 games since he came back, and he
Crazy.
just
Yankees
put
are
us up.
up right now.
I know we're coming back. We'll get to that in a second, but yeah, it's a good point. The international games have always been kind of like a little special little appetizer when it comes to football because they're always early in the morning. You kind of wake up, you watch them, you have your little appetizer, then you have your first course of the early games, which are always kind of like they're the games that we'll get them out of the way. They're divisional games or matchups that really aren't that impactful. Then you get to your main course, which is the late afternoon games. And actually, no, not even. Not
Wait,
even.
no,
Your the late afternoon games are your second course because they're a lot better. Your main course is Sunday Night Football because that's going to be a banger no matter what. For whatever reason, Sunday Night Football recently in the last few seasons, every single game has been great. And then you have dessert, which is Monday night. And Thursday Night Football is it's the mint you have beforehand.
the tailgate
The tailgate you regret
appetizer.
later. Yeah, it's the mint they give you at the start or the end. I don't know.
No, I would say the start.
The start. No, you know what it is? Thursday Night Football is the bread they put out on the table before you order everything.
Yes,
That's what it is.
perfect. That's
It's a
perfect.
great way
Then
to
it's the
describe it.
bread. It's the bread. Then you got the appetizer, and then you got the lunch, the dinner, and then the dessert. Perfect.
Basically,
Football is food.
it is food. Speaking of which, here's an interesting question. What is, of all the football games you guys have been to, what is the best food item you can get at any stadium you've been to? This doesn't even have to be for football. This could be for any sport because I know that the Ravens have some damn good stuff. I'm
I
curious what you
actually
guys
at
think.
the Ravens game.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm very picky, so I always keep it simple. I always get chicken tenders no matter where I go in any stadium.
Hell yeah. Hey, let me just say this. If you ever go to an Orioles game, and this goes for anyone listening or watching, if you go to an Orioles game, you got to get the chicken tenders and fries. They are that you will
Yeah.
you will be in line for a while, but they are worth it.
I went to the Orioles Rays game on Monday night.
Mhm.
It was McClanahan. Dude is a stellar pitcher. We were 5 rows behind home plate, so we were on TV. It was cool. But my boyfriend actually got tenders and fries, and he didn't want to finish them. And there's only like one tender left and a few fries. And he gave me the tender, and it was really good.
Oh yeah.
Really, really
The
good.
Orioles do have some really good tenders.
Mhm.
The
But-
best. Here's the thing though. It's not as good as what you can get at Yankee Stadium, where you can get a whole ice cream sundae for like $5 in one of these. I still have it from 4 years ago when I went to Yankee Stadium for the first and only time. One of these.
Nothing beats ice cream in a helmet.
Yeah, and you can wear it afterwards. I probably look ridiculous right now, but I don't care.
I gotta go to Yankee Stadium just for that.
Hold on.
Yep.
I'll be right back. I got something. Hold on.
Oh,
Talk
I'm
amongst
afraid
yourselves.
I'm afraid what she's gonna pull out. She's gonna pull out something tomfoolerish.
Nope. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, while we're on the subject, Calvin, I'm curious. Let's quickly jump over to baseball real quick. Because I know if Kylie was here while we're talking about baseball, it would just be, Phillies this, Phillies that. We suck, but I get. So the Mets. What's going on with the Mets?
We're in one of those Mets slumps right now. That's what's going on with the Mets. There's a time where we were 2-8 in the last 10 games. I think that was like a week ago. It was just absolutely atrocious. There's games where we have leads and then we blow the lead. Like we were up 5-1 against the Tigers last week. Tigers come back and win the game in the ninth inning, 6-5, and then that was a doubleheader day. They come back and beat us again later that day, like 7-2 or something of that nature. And it's been rough. It doesn't matter who's on the mound right now. The bats aren't clicking. The mound's not pitching. We're in a Mets slump right now. That's what's going on with the Mets.
Yeah.
I hope we turn it around. I hope we get it together. But the way it's looking right now, we'll be lucky to see 50 wins this year.
Wow.
It's not looking too good.
You are pessimistic right now, my dude.
Damn.
But I will see you in London next year.
The Pirates have a better record than us.
They have a better record than most teams.
Pirates are like sneakily the best team in baseball. And I gotta say that
the Rays have a case for that.
I know they do, but okay. So we had the series against the Rays, by the way. What's his face? Randy Arozarena can suck it. I'm sorry. This man hit a home run against us, and then he like posed 4 separate times, and then he wondered. Oh my God, Kylie, why?
Popcorn.
I love it. I love it. And beer. Let's go.
That's amazing.
I got a spring training.
I gotta go with it.
So where was I said? Right. Yeah. Randy Arozarena like postures 4 separate times after hitting a home run, and then he gets all pissed off that we beamed him twice. Like, what did you expect? But here's my point. You know, the Yankees right now, we're kind of struggling a bit. We're struggling to find our footing. We got a lot of injuries, but we're starting to get back on track. You know, we're about to sweep the Athletics. Hopefully. Harrison Bader's back and playing awesome. We've got some new Aaron Judge has just gotten back. Volpe he is so good. Here's the issue. The issue, of course, is pitching. Our pitching core has been decimated by injuries, and we have some really terrible starters. But we played the Rays. Every single one of those games came down to the wire. And whether we lost or win, it doesn't matter. The fact remains we fought the Rays closer than any other team has, which has got me thinking like this team, I think they've benefited from a bit of an easier schedule to start the season. I wouldn't be surprised if, come the halfway point of the year, things start to shift a little bit. I'm impressed with what I've seen with Tampa Bay so far, but I don't know if they can sustain it because, again, they just really haven't played anybody.
I like where you're going with that, but I had this same case with the fuck-ass Eagles during the football season. And I said, they just haven't played anybody. And I also said, we beat the Eagles. I know they're not that good. And then they go all the way to the Super Bowl. So I love the thought as a Yankees fan, but as we just got to be realistic right now. They're hot. They're 29-8. The bats are clicking. The pitching staff's clicking. I don't think Shane McCallahan's lost a game yet this year. Yeah. They just look good right now. As far as the Yankees, you guys do look good. You're in a slump, but that's a pitching thing, like you said. And then you didn't have Aaron Judge for a couple of the games and stuff like that. Judge is back now.
And even with Judge out, we were still able to click off some wins. I mean, our biggest problem this season really has been pitching because we got Garrett Cole, who's been amazing. and I don't think he's lost yet. I think against the Rays, that was his first game that he's lost as a pitcher, but it wasn't his fault. We blew that lead because of our bullpen.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a great point that I was going to get to as well. Like, there's been games where you guys had the lead, and then your bullpen, different pitcher comes in, and it's like 3-0 turns into 5-3 in one inning, and it's like, damn, this is crazy. But I think you guys will turn it around, but yeah, I don't know if you guys take that division this year. The Rays are just too hot.
It's going to be close. That entire division is so stacked. The Red Sox have turned it around. The Orioles. Hey, let's talk about the Orioles real quick. Baltimore is probably going to make the playoffs at this rate with the way they are playing. The Orioles have been really impressive.
Baltimore has a better record than us.
Yeah.
The Orioles look good though. 23-13 to start the year. There's been a lot of games where they're the opposite of the Yankees, where their bullpen is, because I saw a Yankees game last week where it was 0-0 all the way. I mean, Orioles game last week where it was 0-0 all the way into the 7th inning, and their bat couldn't click because they couldn't get any hits. They ended up losing that game. They did end up getting a hit or two, but I think they only got 2 hits that game. So they ended up losing the game, and because bats weren't clicking, they ended up losing the game. So they've had good pitching going on throughout the first 36 games here of the season. Some games haven't had the bats clicking the way they need to.
Yeah, and that's an issue that will eventually solve itself. They're obviously not going to be like this forever, but right now, with the way that they're playing, it's entirely possible that we could see 4 out of the 5 teams from the AL East make the playoffs at this rate.
Oh yeah.
That's how stacked that division is. Meanwhile, the other divisions, the AL, are all over the place. I mean, the Central, it's pretty much just either Minnesota or Cleveland because all the other teams in that are pretty bad. Although the Tigers are not looking horrible, I'll say.
Yeah, they're not terrible.
Tigers are up 2-0 right now against the Guardians.
There you go. I'll also give a shout out to the West, where the Rangers continue to defy expectations. I didn't think they were going to be this good. I really didn't.
I think we actually had a podcast where both of us said that we didn't think they were going to be good, even with DeGrom going over there and stuff like that. They're surprising.
Yeah, and if they can continue to keep Houston at bay and Seattle, that really helps out. Teams like the Yankees that helps out the entirety of the American League. Because right now, the way we're trending right now is that we could get a different American League champion for the first time since 2020. Well, actually, no. And most likely it would be Tampa probably at this moment. I'll jump over to the NL very quickly. The NL East, so the Braves are still in first place, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately.
Yeah, Braves are still in first. Kylie, quick checkup. How are the Phillies doing?
So
I think they have a better record than us.
I'm checking right now for sure, but I think we do. But yeah, we're in third now. But and we're 8 games back on first place. Nice. So
you're behind Atlanta and
Miami.
Yeah, Miami. I keep forgetting Miami.
We're some shit.
Works for me.
It could be worse. It could be the Nationals.
Yeah, it's true. So it's frustrating. Because we have injuries. Harper is just back from Tommy John surgery, but he's been killing it. We have Jose Alvarado that just got put on the 15-day IL this morning. And, I mean, our starting pitchers, our biggest issues are starting pitching.
Not even Zach Wheeler's looked too good this year.
Yeah, Wheeler and Nola have been off, and it's a mess right now with starting pitching, but that's the only issue, so as long as they can get it together, we'll be all right. I'm not too worried.
Well, I'm not too worried, but I am worried just because I've seen this episode before.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, I was just looking at the standings to get our facts correct. And the team with the biggest run differential, negative or positive, guess who it is?
Who?
Just guess.
It's got to be
Negative or
Oakland.
positive run
It's got
differential.
to be Oakland in the negative, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I knew it.
Negative 125.
Oh, we've been playing them right now. We're playing them right now, and this series has been the first series the Yankees have been able to, just really just run through their opponents. So
Yeah.
You guys
Makes
scored 4 in
sense.
the first inning.
Yeah.
who's the best positive run differential?
I believe it is the Rays. Yeah, the Rays.
It should be the Rays. Yeah.
Positive 116.
Ooh.
But I mean,
It's
we'll
still
see
early in
how-
the season. It's only the second month of the year, and we're not even halfway through month 2. So
Yeah.
it's still early. Let's talk real quick. Let's move on now to the meat of our podcast and today's episode, the NBA playoffs, because, oh boy, there's been a lot happening. So when we last left off, pretty much all the series have been settled. We're into the second round now. We'll start out in the East, where you guys are going to have to fill me in because I've been not keeping up with these series because of all of the drama about moving and changing location. So you got to fill me in. Start things off. Knicks Heat. Where's this series stand right now?
Heat are up 3-1.
Oh my God.
I have something very funny to say about the Heat being up 3-1. All the bubble talk is very, very quiet now. Very, very quiet. All the bubble was a fluke and stuff like that. All those people are very quiet now. I haven't heard not one thing about the bubble being fluke anymore.
We've been saying this for a while, man.
You've been saying this for a while.
The two. Well, I've been saying it as well because my guy won the championship in that bubble, so I know.
Yeah.
I know. But the two people that represented that bubble's finals are up 3-1 in their series.
Yeah, I mean, and this isn't really a surprise either because Miami and Los Angeles are really good teams. Miami has been a championship caliber team the last couple of years. The problem has been the East has been really competitive. Los Angeles, they've had some teething issues, but I mean, they are recent champions. So it really isn't a surprise. I think it's more of just week. Everybody expected these series to, I guess, be a bit more competitive. Especially Golden State and Los Angeles. My goodness, I did not expect the Lakers to do what they're doing right now. And
Yeah.
who is Lonnie Walker? Who is Lonnie Walker? Who is this man?
Here's the funny thing. I got a story about Lonnie Walker. 2015, I graduated. I went to college in Pennsylvania, Cheyney University, Division II. I had two across the hall mates that lived across the hall. They were from Reading, Pennsylvania. So they actually went to school with Lonnie Walker. And he was a senior at that time that we were freshmen in college. So he's still at Reading, Pennsylvania for high school. One weekend, they're like, yo, let's go to the basketball game. It's going to be lit tonight. Lonnie Walker, blah, 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 this, that, and the third. I'm like, bro, who the hell is Lonnie Walker? Like, never heard of this dude before. Like, the hell? Like, why y'all so pressed to go see this dude? We get there. The whole Reading basketball stadium is packed. Like, absolutely packed. And they're all there to see Lonnie Walker. And that night, I found out who Lonnie Walker is because this kid, and at this time he had dreads and all that. And like this kid, he's windmill dunking behind like backwards and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, this dude's legit. And they told me, they're like, yeah, he's committed to Miami. I'm like, damn, he's gonna be a problem. So I've known of Lonnie Walker since 2015, and we actually still have our group chat from all the people I went to school with there that I was friends with. And the other night, one of my boys texted group chat and was like, damn, y'all see y'all boy Lonnie Walker? He out there cooking. So Lonnie Walker, he's been a talent, man. He's just been a hidden gem.
I know. I'd never heard of him until that game, but now I'm like, man, I gotta check this out. Like this dude apparently has been good from day one.
Yeah, he's been kicking ass, dude.
Yeah, and the thing is, he was actually doing very good in the beginning of the season. I think he started like 23 games or something, and then when the trade happened, his role changed. So once his role changed, then a lot of people didn't start hearing about his name again until that last game here.
Right.
And the thing is, he earned more minutes because of the Warriors blowing us out in game 2. When the Warriors blew us out in game 2, he had 15 points that game, and that was in like the third or fourth quarter because it was already a blowout by the third quarter, so they had to sub. So that's where he earned his minutes. So I'm just happy he earned his minutes because he saved us the other night.
He did.
That's amazing. Sixers are up 3-2 on the Celtics, and I am scared.
If you guys can knock off the Boston, you guys probably would be the favorites to win the East in that case. I still think you guys are, except that I'm.
Go ahead, I sorry.
My only concern is that team from South Beach and Michael Jordan's illegitimate son. But
yeah,
this is why I'm not worried about the Sixers against the Heat if that does end up being the Eastern Conference Finals. I watched for whatever reason, I've watched almost every one of these NBA games in the playoffs from start to finish. Like, I haven't really watched NBA playoffs in like 2 years, and that's probably because LeBron has been out the playoffs. But, all the games I've watched basically start to finish. I was watching that Heat-Knicks game the other day, and what the Heat lack is a big man. Bam Adebayo is pure shit. I don't care if he scored 20 points the other night. I don't care if he scored 20 points the other night. That guy, he's not the big man he needs to be. And he's very overhyped. And Joel Embiid is going to give that guy 40 points a night if that ends up being the matchup.
Speaking of him, we talked about it last week. He got the MVP last week.
Yeah, he did. I didn't know you felt that way about Bam, bro.
Well, I didn't feel that way about Bam until I watched him with my own 2 eyes. And then it wasn't just the game the other day, because the game the other day he dropped 20 points and I still said that. But the game before that, I think it was, they were in New York still, and he's just not going for rebounds, not doing this, not doing that. And I was saying then, me and my boy were watching the game, and I said, bro, I hope that the Lakers make it to the finals and they play the Heat, because Anthony Davis is going to eat this man alive. Like, this is pure barbecue chicken, as Shaq would say. Like, I don't know. Bam Adebayo just doesn't impress me. So if Joel Embiid has a chance against Bam Adebayo, I'll put my money on Joel Embiid 10 times out of 10.
It's very scary because I don't want to get my hopes up. I have lost 2 championships in a row this year. I can't lose a third. My Devils are out of the playoffs. Like,
technically, you lost 3 championships because of the Philadelphia Union.
Yeah, but I don't watch the MLS really.
I don't think anybody really does.
I watch European football. European football is so much better.
Yeah,
that's a really story to tell, though. Losing four major championships in a year, and then you guys may overcome that.
Dude, I'm telling you, I don't know, because Boston has historically owned the hell out of us. They are our father. It's ridiculous how much of a mismatch it is. Embiid was right when he said it's not even a rivalry. They always kick our ass. It's true.
Yeah.
One thing you guys have done a great job of is shutting down Jason Tatum. Yeah, he scored 30 points the other night, but it took him damn near 30 shots to get that 30 points. Yeah. So you guys have been doing a lot to frustrate Jason Tatum. There was a point in time, not last game, game 5, but game 4, there was a point in time Jason Tatum was 0 for 9 from the field.
Yeah.
0 for 9. I think he ended up finishing that game with maybe 18 points or something like that. Then there was actually a game. Boston ended up winning that game. But there was a game where you guys held Jason Tatum to 7 points. So
I think that was game 2.
Yeah, it's been very frustrating for Jason Tatum. And because you guys have been able to shut him down, it has allowed you guys to be as dominant as you guys have been. It's allowed even James Harden to open up to being the James Harden we once knew. Like, the guy has given us two great, insane games, and probably the two biggest games of the series, game 1 and game 3. Because, if you win game 1, then it's like, all right, well, we got momentum now. We got one. So you say that again?
And home court advantage. You steal home court.
Yeah.
Right. And not only that, you win game 1 on their court, and it's like, all right, we got one now. So if we lose the next one, it's okay, because now the series will still be tied 1-1, and we're going home after that.
Yeah.
So then, you guys do lose game 2, but then he comes back out game 3 and has another 40-point night. And, they say the people that usually go up 2-1 or win game 3 of the series most likely win that series. So that gave you guys a better chance of winning the series. And then you guys showed us last night that you guys deserve to win the series 100%. So I'm actually rooting for you guys tomorrow.
No, don't do that.
Why not?
Because every single time everybody starts rooting for Philly, it goes bad. Everybody was rooting for the Phillies because nobody likes the Astros. Everybody was rooting for the Eagles because they were sick of the Chiefs.
Hey, I wasn't rooting for the Eagles.
I'm not sick of the Celtics, because you guys know I love Tatum, and he's been very disappointing to me. But I think you guys just deserve to win. And not only that, I don't know. I think some type of history will repeat about Lakers and Sixers championship or some shit like that.
Maybe
it has been in the making. They have played each other many times in the NBA Finals, even back when the Sixers were based in Syracuse and the Lakers were based in Milwaukee. Not Milwaukee, Minneapolis, excuse me. So it's possible. I would be interested to see that kind of series.
I won't say that about the Lakers yet, because the Warriors, even though they're down 3-1, there's definitely a chance these guys can come back. They have one of the best players in the world. Not only is he one of the best players in the world, he's the best shooter in the world. So whenever that guy's on the other sideline, there's always a chance for that team. I don't expect us to close the series out tonight. I expect us to go back to game 6 and close out in LA. I pray and pray and pray and pray and pray and hope that we close it out tonight, so we don't have to see this number 30 guy again. But like I said, with that guy on the other side, there's always a chance for these guys to make a comeback. So I can't say the Lakers yet, but I can tell you this. Did you guys tell my LeBron stat that I told you guys a couple weeks ago?
I vaguely remember it.
Did you tell the podcast about it? Because I don't think I was on the podcast that week when I said that.
I don't remember. Say it again.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I may have. I don't remember. I don't recall if I did or not. But go ahead.
Here is the reason that I believe LeBron James will be in the NBA Finals, and that's why I always say Lakers Finals, no matter who comes out the East. Even though they're still playing Steph Curry, and like I said, they still have a chance and whatever. But from 2012 to 2022, that's 10 years. The championships have gone like this. LeBron James.
Okay.
Spurs, Warriors, LeBron James, Warriors, Raptors,
LeBron James,
Celtics. Bucks, Warriors. So in that 10 years, you can see LeBron won 4 of those championships. Not only that, he was in 8 of those championships. So he had an opportunity to win it 8 times. So that means in the 10-year span of those championships I just named, LeBron was in 80% of those, which gives us an 80% chance LeBron will be in that championship.
I don't think that's talked about enough.
Not only that, there's a 50% chance that he'll win it because he was in 8 out of He was in 8 of those 10 and won 4 out of 8 of those. So there's a 50% chance that he'll win it. But this is the other key stat. The 2 years that the guy was not in the championship or didn't win it, he wasn't in the playoffs. So if he was in the playoffs, he was probably going to make it to the goddamn championship. So if LeBron James is on the court and he's in the playoffs, there's a very, very high. There's more of a chance LeBron James will go to the championship than there is that one of your favorite players will win the MVP one day. Seriously.
Well, mine already
That's
won the
wild to
MVP,
think about.
so-
I mean, I think the craziest thing about all of those championships is that, again, and you mentioned it, even though LeBron wasn't like winning all those championships, he still was in them. From 2011 to 2018, LeBron James went to. Actually, from 2011 to 2020, LeBron James was in all but all but one NBA Finals. Warriors
Literally,
Raptors 2019 is the only series LeBron was not in.
From the time I was in like maybe 9th grade or 8th grade all the way up until like sophomore year of college, LeBron was in those championships. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
That is a long stretch. Jesus. The guy's amazing, man. It's not talked about enough. Everybody was talking about that Jordan guy.
So
Everybody acts like Jordan only played 6 years in the NBA as well. Like, oh, he won 6 rings. He was 6-0. But like the guy didn't only just play 6 years. I can understand if he played 6 years and went 6 straight times and won 6 times. But like he didn't just play 6 years in the NBA.
yeah,
I mean,
you're not wrong.
one could say that he was tougher back then.
It wasn't tougher back then.
I know.
I saw a video the other day of the defense back then. There was never anybody double teaming Michael Jordan. They had their own rules. They couldn't even touch this man. Kobe would have dropped 150 points a night back in those times. Like that, I don't know. The more 90 videos I see, the less respect I have for those 90 players that say, "Oh, these guys could never play in our time." It's like, man, these guys would have dominated you if they had their skill set still, and you dropped them in your time. The evolvement of a player from their time to now is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So if you're telling me LeBron James, with all the skill sets LeBron James has, and he's in his prime, if you drop him in the 90s, this guy would have had 20 championships. Like, come on. It's crazy, man.
It's pretty wild.
Lou Williams could have went to 4 straight championships in the 90s. Seriously.
So I just got a notification on my phone that says Carlos Correa knows he's not living up to $200 million deal. And out of curiosity, I was like, let me see what he's doing this year. He's batting 185.
Oh, God.
5 home runs and 15 RBI with a 624 OPS.
Guess it's a good thing we didn't go through with the deal. I mean, we're some shit anyway, but.
Wow. I mean, I guess it serves him right, the little cheating bitch, but
yeah. Exactly.
That's great.
I was just curious why I popped that up.
I don't even.
Huh?
As far as the games tonight, though, what are you guys looking at? Where do you?
Remind me which games are tonight.
So it is the. Oh, I'm on NHL. Oops.
We have Lakers, Warriors. They're the 10 o'clock game.
And Heat next.
And then Knicks.
I think Heat take the series. Heat and Lakers take the series tonight. I'm gonna say. I mean, it's definitely
I'm
put.
going to play Miami.
You have to play Miami.
I'm nervous. I don't know what happens tonight. Something in me tells me we go to 6, but my heart says Lakers close this shit out tonight. And let's go into the next round and rest for a couple of days before we see who's coming out of that Phoenix and Nuggets series.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. What happened here with Jokic getting into it with the Suns owner.
I'm not going to comment.
I don't know really too much about that. I didn't really see it.
So what happened is that there was a scuffle on the side of the court, and Jokic tried to get the ball back from the Suns owner, who wouldn't give it to him because there was a scuffle going on. Fair enough. And as a result, Jokic put his hands on the Suns owner, and the league was like, "Yo, you can't do that." So
I did see the Jokic press conference, and Jokic said that the guy pushed him first or something, but I didn't see the clip or anything of that nature.
I think the guy clearly was trying to antagonize him. I will say that the guy clearly was trying to antagonize Jokic and get him to respond, and he did. And I mean, to be fair, I mean, you're in a situation like Jokic was in, where you're in a playoff series. It's going, it's tight. You don't know what's going to happen, and some random dude, you're trying to get the ball back, and some random dude is holding on to it. It's like, no, fuck off. It's like I'd get frustrated too. I don't blame him.
I definitely understand Jokic on it as well with the frustration, because it's like at the end of the day, the NBA doesn't really do too much to protect their players, and I think they like it's more like I don't know, more like a he said she said thing. And even though they can clearly see what happened on the TV, like as you're saying, you can clearly see that the guy was antagonizing Jokic and stuff like that. Well, if the guy's antagonizing Jokic, then at that point, then it's like you got to do something about the guy. Like, you can't really fault Jokic, because we don't even know what was said to Jokic. Depending on what was said, me being Jokic, I may react as well too, or you feel me, like give the guy a shove too. So there's got to be a point where you protect your players, and you see a guy antagonizing a player, then you gotta step in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, y'all know how I feel about Jokic, but
oh, I don't think we do, Kylie.
No, because but I thought it got blown out of proportion.
It definitely did.
Bias out of everything. Like it got blown way out of proportion. It's not that big a deal at all.
As far as the series, though, can we talk about something for a second? Why does nobody talk about how Devin Booker carries Kevin Durant like everybody else in the world supposedly carries LeBron James? Like, KD has had 2 30-point games in these series, but there was a game he shot 12 for 31. You have 31 shots to get your 30 points. The game that he had 39 or 38 points, he shot the ball like 33 times. So, and then it's like he hasn't done anything or won a championship since he's left that Warriors team. Nope. But supposedly this guy is the greatest player in the world. I've heard multiple people say that for multiple years. Oh, KD's the greatest player in the world. He's this, he's that. How is he the greatest player in the world? And he's being carried just, by a whole different player. Like, this is still clearly Devin Booker's team. Like, KD didn't come there and take over. Like, Devin Booker is still scoring 40 points a night. He's averaging 35 points in this series. 35 points a night in this series. So why doesn't ESPN talk about that enough like they do when, like, supposedly Ray Allen carried LeBron to a championship?
Because LeBron has exceeded everybody's expectations. Like, there is not one person that had higher expectations for LeBron, because it's not possible. You cannot expect a dude to go to 8 straight finals. He has been to 10 finals. He has been in the league for 20 years. Half of his career was spent being in the finals. The first time he went, he had no business being there. That's a whole different thing. LeBron carried the shit out of him, right?
Hey, don't disrespect Big Z and Anderson Varejao like that. Come on.
To be honest, 2018, he had no business being there either. As the 4 seed with Larry Nance and who else? I don't even know who else was on that goddamn team.
Yeah, LeBron really had no business. Like, Yeah.
Were the 2018 Cavs even a real team?
No.
I don't know, honestly.
No one knows. And
But
you know,
and then to your point, Kylie, that's what mind boggles me when people say that. Like, I don't even when people say now that this person and that person is the greatest player in the world, I just say, okay, cool, that's your opinion. I don't even argue it anymore, because how can this player you're saying be the greatest player in the world, but they're not holding this player to the same expectation that they're holding a 38-year-old, 20-year vet at? They still hold LeBron to the highest expectation in the entire NBA. Like,
and he
I heard
still
on
does it.
ESPN the other day, when the series was tied 1-1, I heard on ESPN the other day, oh, if LeBron loses this series to Steph Curry passes LeBron as on Mount Rushmore, and we got to take LeBron off the Mount Rushmore of the greatest players of all time, and blah, blah, blah,
Whose
blah.
dumbass
How?
said that?
Who
said that?
Stephen A. Smith. So,
Where's your
look.
answer?
Why am I not surprised?
So,
Why am I not surprised? Get this goofy ass off of my air.
Stephen A. Smith said that out of his mouth. Like, when I saw the clip, I just had to laugh at it, because it's like, bro, how? And it's like, you're still holding this man to an expectation at year 20. This man still shows you every night that he has to give his all in year 20. Like, this is the first time in his career that he's actually had a team where he hasn't had to go drop 40 points a night and win a ball game. Like,
Wait, is it?
Yeah, like,
I don't remember the Miami years. Somebody remind me. Like, was it like that during the Miami years?
I mean, even in the Miami years, the Miami years are just unfair. Nobody could guard him and D Wade, so they were dropping 30 a night easily on some funny shit. Like,
fair enough.
That was his prime years. So that didn't really count. That was like Superman, LeBron, and D Wade. So
yeah,
they were like trading off nights where they're scoring 30, 40 a night. But as far as after that, even the years with Kyrie and stuff like that, in that playoff series against the Warriors, him and Kyrie literally had to drop 40 points a night 2 games in a row for them to win that series, or even come back in that series. And even then after that, without Kyrie, they try to bring in AD to the Lakers. Oh, this is going to be AD's team now. I'm going to take some slack off myself, this, that, and the third. Year 17, he still had to go score 40 points a night because AD is injured every goddamn night. Like, this is the first team he's had to not score 40 points a night to win a ball game. And people are still holding him to an expectation as if he's still chasing Michael Jordan, or he's still in year 3, or still chasing a scoring title, or still chasing this or that, or this, that, and the third. The man is a 19-time All-Star, 4-time champion, 4-time MVP, 4-time final MVP. Like, the man has had 4 Hall of Fame careers in one 20-year NBA career. It doesn't make sense. But somehow all these other people are the greatest players in the world. How? They're not held to the same high expectation.
No, I agree. And I mean, as much of a Jordan fan as I am, I mean, everybody says Jordan never had the expectation LeBron has. LeBron was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in high school. He was the chosen one. He was him. He was the guy, and
he's still him.
What's funny? Jordan is actually the one that gave him the chosen one name. If you go back and look at an interview, Jordan is the one that told him he was the chosen one. So Mike already knew that this guy was the next talent, the next great thing to come behind him.
Yeah.
So why doesn't everybody else just realize that this man, Mike already passed the torch. He was telling you when he named him the chosen one, this guy's going to be better than me. He's better than me.
I have a theory.
Okay, what's the theory?
This theory is based primarily off of stuff my dad has said. So my dad is a huge Michael Jordan fan. He was working in Carolina during Jordan's college days. He followed the Bulls super closely during the 90s. And after Michael retired from the Bulls and left the Bulls, my dad pretty much stopped keeping up with basketball. He was such a huge fan that when The Last Dance came out and I was like, dude, Dad, you got to watch this with me. He said, I don't need to watch that. I experienced it. I know every game from their last season. My dad has never been a huge LeBron James fan. He likes LeBron James. He thinks LeBron James is awesome, but he always will go like, whenever you say, like, who's better, he'll be like, Michael. Simple as that.
Me too.
And here's where the theory comes in. Before Michael Jordan, there were stars in the NBA, but there was nobody, of that magnitude. That point that you could go to somebody who doesn't even watch basketball and be like, hey, you know what Magic Johnson is? He does basketball, right? All right, who's Michael Jordan? Oh, he's the forward for the Chicago Bulls. See the difference? As a result, Michael Jordan, it's kind of like this. And I know Defender of the North is going to geek out at this reference. We flowers for Algernon our expectations for basketball players with Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan was so good and we held him to such a higher level above everyone else that now when we see a player like LeBron James who is at his same level or even better, we can't accept that. We as a society are like, well, he clearly isn't. He's not Jordan. He's got to live up to. We'll just keep raising the expectations. Nobody could beat Jordan. My theory is that we were so blessed to have Michael Jordan with us that when LeBron James shows up and is even better, and I will admit that LeBron's kind of better. He's even better. A lot of the older generations refuse to admit it, and that's why they're so much harder on LeBron James. That's why they hold him to such higher standards than other NBA players, because they refuse to accept that somebody is better than their god of basketball. That's just my theory.
I will say, though, there is some old guys that say LeBron is better than Jordan, and they played against Jordan. So
yeah.
Well, that's a little different because those are guys who played against Jordan. Now, those are basketball players. I'm talking about the general public or sports media. Remember, the people who have the sports media are some of the most, shrivelous bastards on the planet. Actually, no, I am one, And part of it also is they're just trying to get clicks. I mean, I don't think Stephen A. Smith really believes that. I think he just said that just to draw out some controversy.
Yeah.
But he could have.
Yeah, he could have. But before we go, one thing I really want to get into, hockey.
Oh.
So we had the NHL lottery, the draft lottery.
Right. That shit was rigged.
Not only was it rigged, Chicago should have never had a chance to get the first overall pick anyway.
No, not at all. They spent 10 years building a dynasty off the back of sexual assault, and they somehow are terrible 1 year, and they get the first overall pick in the draft? No, that's not how that works. Should have been disqualified. Should have gone to Anaheim, who has been struggling through a rebuild for 5 years and needs that last piece to finally get back to where they were. No, it says it goes to Chicago.
It's ridiculous. They have one bad year where they trade off anybody that has any sort of value, and they land Connor Bedard. It's ridiculous.
And the stupidest thing...
For those who watch basketball but don't watch hockey, he is the Victor Wembanyama of hockey. Basically.
And the thing about this brings me to my last point, okay? Because this shows the issue. This shows the issue with how draft lottery systems work. So I always have thought the draft lottery is kind of cool. One of my biggest issues with like something more streamlined like the NHL, not the NHL, the NFL or the MLB draft is that it goes by record. So it kind of welcomes
lottery.
No, it is. Never mind. NFL draft. The NFL draft goes by record. So it's entirely possible to tank intentionally to get the first overall pick. There's nothing stopping you except, the unwritten rules. But in the other sports, you can't do that because even if you have the worst record, it's not guaranteed that you're going to get the first pick. However, it's way easier to rig it, especially in a sport like hockey, which is shown its corruption a couple of times. And this has got me thinking like, okay, well, which system is better? Because, I mean, even if you implemented like a record-based draft where the worst teams get the first overall pick no matter what, you would have to introduce all sorts of rules to prevent tanking, which is really hard to do because teams will find loopholes around it. And that, I think, but you have to do something because this was just a blatant robbery by the Blackhawks getting that. Again, they should have even been eligible. Yeah. The fact that all of the shit came out over the last 2 years about what the Blackhawks did, what they sacrificed in terms of human decency to win those 3 championships in the early 2010s. And you're telling me that they get the first overall pick and they don't even get punished for it? Right. You're going to tell me that players were suffering for years due to sexual abuse from members of their athletic training staff that was covered up by their coaches and other players, and yet somehow they get the first overall pick and not get penalized? We should have Penn Stated them. Give them a Penn State treatment.
Yeah, Penn State got a lot of backlash and a lot of punishment. Rightfully so, obviously.
Yeah. You can't just
Yeah.
brush over these things.
No, you can't. And it's disgusting that they did and got away with everything. It's absolutely ridiculous. They should not have gotten anywhere near the first overall pick.
And the fact that ESPN was and I'm convinced ESPN was in on it too, because they're the ones who just blatantly announced, like, oh, Columbus has the third pick, by the way. It's like, how do you know? They didn't announce it yet. What is going on? It's stupid. The whole thing is stupid.
Yeah, it is. But for those of us that didn't have to worry about the draft because our teams are good, to recap the last week, let's see, Wednesday. So New Jersey is down 3-1 in the series.
It was a good run, Kylie, but you guys aren't ready yet.
No. We exceeded expectations this year. That's all I can ask. And I mean, as much as I don't like the Hurricanes, they're a damn good team. And I expected a better fight out of these buttheads, but it is what it is.
You guys had your fun.
Yeah. And tonight, Toronto plays Florida, and Toronto is on the verge of being swept.
I really don't want to see the Panthers in the conference finals. Toronto, come on.
No, you don't, but
comeback time.
Yeah. And then the other first round series is over, so now Vegas is playing Edmonton, and Vegas is up 2-1. They play tonight at 10 o'clock, and Edmonton tries to tie it. Vegas tries to take a commanding 3-1 lead.
Quick shout out to Vegas. I don't know who choreographs their pre-show events,
right?
but they have the most ridiculous intro I've ever seen.
Yeah. And then Thursday, Carolina is probably going to take care of the Devils. I mean, it's in Carolina. They're going to take care of the Devils easily. Seattle goes to Dallas to try to take a 3-2 lead. The series is tied, so whoever takes that is in good shape. There's no guaranteed game on Friday except for Edmonton and Vegas.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, the only guaranteed game would be Dallas and Seattle. So after tonight, there is only 4 guaranteed games through Saturday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the first round was great. It was a lot of close games and everything, and really good rivalries.
Second round is more of just kind of we're seeing who's really the better teams here in the second round.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. Yeah.
So we'll have more on that next week's episode, because that's going to wrap up today's episode of the Beer Batter Sports Podcast, where we finally got all of us together and we didn't have any major technical issues except for the very start, but that was different.
Finally.
Finally, we got through one. This show is a proud affiliate of the Fired Up Sports Network. Go follow all of their amazing podcasts, all of the amazing people. Special shout out, of course, always to Bell Smashers, Kylie's other podcast. You can follow us on all of our socials at @bbsports_pod, and check out our Twitter bio for merch. By the way, if you're interested in community college sports, Kylie and I are working a community college softball tournament this weekend, and she will be live tweeting and doing social media for us. So go check her out. Go follow her to get an update on that. If you're interested, of course.
No,
with that being
follow.
Yeah. With that being said, you guys, we're going to sign off for the day. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Peace.
Hopefully the Devils are not eliminated.
And hopefully the Yankees do their thing.
We'll see. All right. Peace.
Peace.